AskReddit. Fast food workers, what's an item people should absolutely stop ordering from your restaurant? To help earn money for my son's school trip to the British Isles, he and I worked at the concession stand for HS football games, among a bunch of other things. At the very first game, the stadium supervisor helped us set up. He opened a cabinet and took out the nacho cheese machine and plugged it in. He opened the lid and looked inside. That should last a couple of hours. When it starts getting low, take a bag, cut a corner off, and squeeze it in. When you are done tonight, just unplug it and stick it back in the cupboard so it will be ready for next week. That was 20 years ago. I haven't eaten nachos since that evening. Waffle House cook. If we are talking health reasons, everything. There is nothing remotely healthy on the menu. Otherwise I say, grits because they can sit for hours and managers will try to keep them looking fresh, even though they cost next to nothing to buy. I don't go to Waffle House for its quality food. I go because I'm drunk. Worked at a small dive bar chain, whose gimmick is that everything on the menu is $5.65. Cat, the nachos. For the same price as a burger, or pasta, or literally anything else on the menu, you got a fistful of cheese on top of some chips. They also suck to make. We would heat them up on the plate we served them on, and then would put the burning hot plate on top of a cold one to serve. So many unnecessary burns, and so many extra dishes. Long John Silver's, 2006, baked cod on a bed of rice. We would microwave it in a paper dish. Sonic small Sonic blasts. They break the cup every time. I once worked at a Dairy Queen. This is definitely true. I was always on the mixer and the mini and small cups definitely get wrecked pretty often and make a mess. I worked in a local coffee and donut shop and nobody ever cleaned the soda machines. They were so gross the first time I cleaned them. I asked if anyone knew how to do it and nobody knew. Nobody had ever done it. Edit. Lots of people are wondering why there is soda. Because I live in a highly Mormon populated area and they can't drink coffee. And apparently a lot of people like Mountain Dew with their apple fritters. And apparently Mormons can drink Mountain Dew? Used to work at Panda Express. No real complaints about the ingredients and food prep, but don't buy any shrimp entrees if you actually want a full meal. They purposely use a smaller serving spoon to make it appear you're getting a lot of food. I believe it was 6 shrimps per serving maximum was the policy. This was back in the day, but my first job was McDonald's. One day we got a call from a sister store asking if we'd had any complaints about our shakes. I said no. They did if we did refer it to them. Turns out a mouse had died in the machine at some point and had been chewed up by the internal mixer. Yeah, I don't get shakes from there anymore, and I eye the ice cream especially hard. Don't get decaf coffee at Burger King. Maybe this was just the one I worked at, but we didn't actually brew any decaf. Whenever someone ordered it, my manager would just have me water down the regular coffee. Tropical Smoothie Cafe. All of the smoothies, except the Detox ones, have so much sugar in them. You're not being healthy by going there. Edit. The sugar isn't just from the fruit. Sugar is added to most smoothies, and they claim it's good because it's turbinado. Also, fruit is healthy. Burgers from Sheetz are microwaved. The grill marks are fake. Bacon is microwaved too. Also, don't drink the fucking peanut butter shakes. One particular peanut butter shake has nearly 2,000 calories in it. Subway's meat all comes packaged. No surprise really. However, when you open up the package of turkey, you get it with a wave of farts. The turkey smells like real, actual human farts. My manager even warned me about it before I opened my first package. Also, when we made the tuna salad we would have to weigh out a pound of mayo to mix with the fish. If you go in the morning, all of the meats/cheeses/vegetables/bread or whatever was left from the night before. That stuff gets used up before they start using everything that's been freshly made/cut. I worked in several Tim Hortons as a teenager. The ice cap machine never gets cleaned. Never ever. One of the girls I worked with went into anaphylaxis after making herself an ice cap at the end of her shift. She had a severe penicillin allergy. Editing to include the fact that this was approximate 16 years ago in a few locations around southern Ontario. Obviously YMMV depending on when and where you worked, but my experience was that they never got cleaned. At least the penicillin will kill all the other bad types of bacteria. Worked at an AMC theater for 2 years. Do not buy the coffee unless it's early morning when we first open. Otherwise you're gonna drink coffee that's been sitting out for a solid 5 hours at least. Edit what I've gathered from the comments. Either 1, that's incredibly gross, or 2, after 5 hours coffee gets its flavor 2.0 and it's great. Who the fuck drinks coffee at a movie theater? You're supposed to drink the free water from the water fountain in a desperate attempt to sober up because you've been drinking all morning and need a chair and some air conditioning to sleep off the day drunk. When you order a pizza, look for the specials. On Pizza Hut's website, you could order a large pizza with 2 toppings for $18. But if you go to the deals tab, that same pizza could be had for $8. They won't apply the discounts for you automatically. Sometimes you gotta look for them. You're ordering pizza wrong if you're not looking for deals. Domino's worker here. Nothing gross really that we do, but for the love of God stop ordering our bread twists. Unless you want the cinnamon ones. You can order the parmesan bread bites. It's the same amount of dough in total for like $3 cheaper. If you order any of the all-day breakfast items at McDonald's after around 1 o'clock, it will most likely be a few hours old. I worked MCDS in the early 2000s. Then there were trays with timers that newly cooked meats went into. Once the timer went off, leftovers were tossed. Unless management walked by and reset the timers. Panera worker here. Nothing's gross or illegal, but just know that half of everything we serve comes in frozen. Soups, meats, some pastries, and the mac and cheese / pasta sauce comes in frozen. But to answer the question, the calorie count for the mac and cheese is absurdly high. I don't remember the exact number, but do your body a favor and limit how many times you have it. There's people who come in several times a week to order a bread bowls of mac and cheese who don't realize how bad it is for you. Also on the topic of our mac and cheese, it's not special Panera brand mac and cheese, it's Nestle mac and cheese. Edit, thank you for the gold. Jack in the Box. I don't know why anyone orders the bacon cheddar potato wedges. It's fake cheese with fake bacon on fried potatoes. I'm trying to remember the ingredient list on the cheese, but I distinctly recall nowhere on the packaging did it say it contained dairy. It also smells like feet. I work at Starbucks. All food comes in frozen, but the egg bites come in vacuum sealed packages with each one individually packaged. We have to massage them, then pop them out of the plastic. They're a pain to get out of the oven, because I guess they play hockey while they're cooking and end up on 2 separate sides of the oven. The oven starts screaming at us. Then, when finally we take them out of the oven, grease pops on our hand. I used to work at Papa John's. Everything, but in particular the fucking garlic knots, full of fucking salt and dripping with forks butter. I don't eat Papa John's to be healthy. I eat it to lay on my bed and watch Netflix while my heart tries not to fail from grease and butter. I never worked fast food, but figured this was worth relaying. When my father-in-law was diagnosed with lung cancer and started chemo, the hospital gave him a list of things to avoid because his immune system was compromised. A lot of stuff was obvious, like soft serve ice cream and anything from a soda fountain, because the nozzles on both don't always get cleaned that well. Some stuff made sense, but wasn't obvious until I read it, like don't get slices of pizza because they have been sitting out, and when getting a whole pizza ask for it unsliced, because the pizza cutter only gets washed at the end of the day and sits on the counter going through every pizza. But the one that surprised me the most was, don't get Jamba Juice. It was the only company called out by name. And it wasn't, don't get certain things from there, it was just don't get Jamba Juice period. Makes me wonder how gross their stuff must get. I work at a Jamba. I can only think that our blender bases aren't cleaned but once a day and only with water. That and our smoothies are based on fountain stands that get cleaned every 3 days or so depending on how busy it is. Otherwise, we are really strict on glove changes, contamination, and cleaning out the blenders. Worked for 8 years at In-N-Out. If this thread is wanting to expose gross stuff, nothing. I swear, the quality standard that they have, which became my standard, was nuts. Food quality, cleaning routines, regular inspections. It makes it hard for me to eat anywhere else. 8 years of a free burger every day worked, and I still crave them. But if you want to slow the growth of your gut, cut the shakes. They're real ice cream mix, not a typical watered down shake mix. I actually prefer the watered down taste of a McDonald's or Wendy shake, but an In-N-Out shake is like eating liquid ice cream. You're already getting a burger and fries. Skip dessert this time. For more content, subscribe to Mr. Reddit.